of Cups family. Welcome to Eight of Cups Tarot and welcome to your PickAPile reading for the fall equinox. Really quick, guys, I just wanted to let you know that this month, October's readings, they may be a little bit delayed. I've got a lot going on here. I've got a son that got his own apartment, so we're moving stuff, and I'm going to be moving my office around. So there's going to be a lot of transformations in my life for sure this month, probably for sure in yours. So I wanted to jump in and do a little reading to tide you over in case these readings don't get out early. I also really wanted to hone in on this fall equinox energy because it is so big this year. The fall equinox is really a symbol of the culmination of the year. And because 2021 was such a big year, you can expect, the finale of the year to be even bigger. We've got a lot going on. October, November, and December are really big months. And right now we're kind of preparing, strengthening ourselves for the things that are to come. Now, I'm not saying that to scare anybody. We've got big changes coming. Some of them will be very beautiful and very positive. Others may be very hard. But it is in the name of change and transformation that all of these things are occurring. And there's a lot of beautiful aspects that come through in October to kind of help you discover who you are, right? That's the whole Venus in Scorpio. Now, Venus in Scorpio in the next couple of weeks, this is part of the fall equinox chart. Venus in Scorpio is going to really bring up these old patterns in ourselves, these old beliefs. Remember, it's bringing our subconscious stuff to the level in order for us to see and transform it. That's what the Scorpio energy does. There's going to be areas in our life, especially through this Libra season, where we become super obsessed, or we may feel the need to control situations. Venus in Scorpio can be a little bit manipulative, very controlling. Because there's deep down in the depths of us, we have to confront the discomfort. Now, a lot of us, this could turn out like financial. It could turn out, in our love relationships. Why can't we make big changes? What's holding us back? Why are we doing the same things over and over, dating the same type of people, putting ourselves in the same scenarios, having these same patterns? We have to confront those. And the magic of Venus and Scorpio, while we have the Sun, Mars, and Mercury making an extra long trip with a retrograde through the sign of Libra, is that the people around us, which is what Libra represents, they're mirroring something within us, okay? And it's really beautiful if we can kind of step back and recognize that, like that coworker that's driving you crazy, or your spouse, or your children, or whatever it is, whatever is irritating you about them is subconsciously planted in you, right? It goes back to the logic that we create our own environment. We create our own lives. We create these scenarios. And if we're really unhappy with these scenarios, we can't possibly make the right changes until we confront the reasons why we keep getting in these situations in the first place. Venus in Scorpio, when you are triggered, when you are obsessed, when you're trying to control an outcome or hold on to something, when you feel like you need to seek revenge, or you feel very afraid or negative kind of feelings, you really need to pay attention to where these things are coming from and why. Is it because we don't trust ourselves? Is it because we don't believe in ourselves? Because these old patterns have to die, right? This fall equinox also took place with a Pisces full moon. So it carries this energy of us needing to disconnect. I apologize, I got a cat visiting. He never does this, my goodness. It gives this energy of us needing to change in these big ways by getting through the deeper cracks in the surfaces. Because really what we all seek is the stability, right? And you know spiritually that the stability never comes from another person. It can be mirrored through another person, but most likely if you look at like the really successful people, or if you look at people in your lives and you think, oh my God, they just have like the best relationships and that's something that I've always wanted. Well, then you have to look at the reasons why it's never happened, why you don't have those things. And we have to look at what needs to evolve within us in order to really get what we want out of life. Guys, 2022 is a really amazing year. And it's a year, right? Jupiter through Pisces for most of the year. It's a year where we're going to have to maintain a lot of faith. So right now, we're being asked to make some big decisions. Big decisions, and there will be periods during this next couple of months where we have to confront our doubt. We might find ourselves falling into those old patterns, right? Mercury retrograde, for example. Say you want the love of your life, you want like something that you've never had before. And then Mercury comes along and it starts to retrograde, and like that ex calls you back, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, but there's comfort there in the old. And so maybe I'm going to revisit that. And then the universe is going to pull you out of that. And it's going to say, no, but why did you even consider it in the first place? What is unresolved within you that's causing you to feel like you can't move on from that old energy, those old patterns, those old comfort zones? Venus is going to move in October into the sign of Sag. And she is going to really exasperate the whole energy of 2021, which is the need for freedom. Now, it's not that Venus doesn't love having a partner or, a best friend or these relationships, but really, Venus and Sag is all about the dream. And if we don't confront these things in the next couple of weeks in Scorpio season, we're going to have a hard time when Venus moves into Sag believing in the choices that we made. Because if they don't come from the heart, if they aren't completely authentic to us, if they aren't part of our destiny and our path, we're going to feel those old things coming back, that resentment, that urge to run away. But Venus and Sag can also exuberate, if you're investing in the right things, if you're having faith in the right things, you're going to see amazing abundance come through, because your faith will be rewarded, because you've made the right choices. So Venus in Scorpio is about listening to your intuition and confronting those old patterns. It's an intense Libra season, guys. It's an intense Mercury retrograde. We're really going to have to go back and review the way that we handle relationships. And I'm not just talking romantic stuff. I'm talking all relationships in our lives. If there's any sense of codependency in our lives, any sense of fear of abandonment or those kind of issues, they will come to the surface. Maybe some of them will be through our current partnerships. A lot of them will be through viewing our old partnerships, right? Even if the ex doesn't come back, you'll find yourself reviewing those old patterns of who you were in those older relationships. What was really you, and what was part of you that was operating out of a place of fear or jealousy or possession of some sort. Same with our finances. Are we going to make the decisions now out of fear, out of the need for stability, or are we going to follow our heart and do what's really right? So as you can see, the fall energy is really going to be about finding our sovereignty, finding who we are and making those right decisions. And it might be confusing. There might be a lot of options, a lot of different avenues, and we have to pick and choose. these old things that come back, these old thoughts, these old considerations that come back, they were a part of us. But because we've gone through such an evolution between 2020 and all of 2021, then we get to look at those things and say, yeah, but is that reflective of who I am now? Maybe this is something or someone that I wanted 10 years ago. This is an opportunity that I prayed for 10, 20 years ago. Suddenly, you're entertaining these options again, and you're starting to really look at them, and do they fit who you are now? Maybe they do. Maybe these things are coming up to kind of test your sovereignty to the new. Right? The old options might creep back in, really in an essence, to make you look at where you're at, where you were headed. Do you really want to go back? And how committed are you to the future self and where you want to evolve? It's always easy to go back to our comfort zone, guys. Venus is going to hit that Sag. She's going to hit our South Node. Believe me, those comfort zones are going to call to you. But there's comfort in the new as well. We have to find that. We have to make peace with that. We have to make peace with the fact that all of the new things that are coming in, the new opportunities and the advancements, the new relationships, the new people that we're meeting, they're a reflection of our future self. So choose wisely. All right, guys, so you know how this works. We have 3 piles here. I'll do a reading for each one, each having a stone. I kind of focused in on the colors this month. I've got this this red agate, which kind of represents the root chakra energy, which is something very subconscious, deeply rooted, kind of representing our fears or where we're kind of tied down. We've got the green one here representing the heart chakra, maybe probably something more to do with love and our ability to receive much more of a feminine energy. This is much more of a masculine energy. And then we have this royal blue kind of purple color, which I find as the crown chakra. And I find this reading, probably this PickAPile reading, kind of leading more towards your ability to ascend into the future in some way, probably either through love, through career, whatever that is. But take a look at these. We'll pause it. Take a look. Maybe you want to just choose a number, 1, 2, or 3. Choose a color. Read all 3 and see what resonates with you. It's kind of an element of destiny in these, so you could just kind of pick off of a whim the first one you see and take a listen. All right, guys, I wish you the absolute best in the next couple of weeks, and I will be seeing you very soon for those October readings. Sending lots of love. Take care. Okay, pile number 1. Let's jump into this reading right off the bat. Just like I said when I chose the stones for the reading, this color representing the root chakra, meaning where are we deeply rooted in our lives? And then the decision to allow ourselves to be uprooted, right? The idea that no matter where we are, we can change our reality. And with that comes a lot of fear, a lot of confusion, right? 7 of Cups, a lot of different options. Okay, no, I don't want to be here anymore, but I don't know where I want to go. And there's a lot of fear that comes up, and there's a lot of self-judgment that comes up with this 7 of Cups, right? When you're faced with a lot of different options of I don't know what I want, then you begin to scramble or grasp onto things. That's like the natural instinct for us. And Venus and Scorpio will absolutely make us try to grasp onto something. However, as she makes this opposition to Uranus, as she is right now, the things we're grasping to that aren't right will dissolve. So we have this 3 of Wands, and we have the 6 of Cups in reverse, and down here we have the card number 7, Cancer. also a card number 7. And we have a no place like home. Now, to me, Cancer, kind of all about the home. Here we have this home card with the 6 of Cups in reverse. And I feel like there's this deep yearning, right? 3 of Wands. There's a wanting. There's looking into the future, waiting for something to happen. Some of you are waiting for a sign, waiting for an absolute, waiting for like the loan to come through or the application to be accepted, or, you know, that person to finally ask you out or advance the commitment, whatever this represents for you. But I think that yearning is so much deeper than just wanting the next thing, you know, because like the little things, the mini stuff, it just doesn't vibe with Venus and Scorpio. Venus and Scorpio wants like something deep, something so in-depth, something that's such a part of their soul. And that's what I feel with all of this Cancer energy as well. Now, for some of you, you might just very well be a Cancer going through some pretty heavy transits as you are right now. But I think this is more a reflection of the old you versus the new you, which is kind of this Gemini card, the Lover's card, which represents the choice between the old version of us and the new version. And because we have this 10 of Wands coming right here in the center, this is the current energy. And underneath that is card number 11, transformation is beautiful, this butterfly spirit. The fact is you are becoming another person. And you have to make peace with that 6 of Cups. You have to make peace with the person you used to be. You know, the 6 of Cups in reverse, there's a lot of judgment that comes from that. Self-judgment, most likely. If you've made mistakes with money, or you've made mistakes in relationships, and that kind of all comes to this point. And then you begin to either feel like you don't deserve it, you don't deserve the success, you don't deserve that love of your life, you don't deserve that kind of thing, but you truly want it. And here you are, you're in the middle of this phase of really cleaning out all of that subconscious gunk that gets built up, all those old stories we told ourselves about how, like, if we chose this career, we wouldn't have enough money to pay the bills, or if we left this person, we would never find anybody else. And we got to look at that this month, and we have to really look at what home represents to us. Now, the home being maybe your physical dwelling, maybe your job, maybe some kind of commitment that you've been in for a long time. But the home is so much deeper because it's our souls. We have to look at what do we want, what are the reasons why we want these. Now, I promise you, Venus making an opposition to Uranus, it can't just be about the money, right? Like if you're picking careers because it's safe and there's a paycheck, if you're picking lovers because, you know, they can help advance your career or pay your bills or something, that will never work. And you will remain in the 7 of Cups. See, the universe is really getting ready. Like I said, Jupiter's at the very end of Aquarius. It's going to get ready to move into Pisces, and we are going to have faith in the things that we have chosen. So you want to choose things that you have a depth of faith in, things that your soul really yearns for, which is probably not that 9-to-5 job that pays the bills. It's probably not that relationship with that person that you don't even feel immense passion for. And here we are, this current position, clearly unhappy with the things that we are involved in now. And this is a suggestion that there are phases of our lives that are ending. Old versions of ourselves, the versions of ourselves that played it small and that settled. See, I see the 6 of Cups as all of the ways in which we've settled. because we were too afraid to believe that the things that we really wanted, the things that we really wanted to do, right, that they would ever be a success. And you get to a certain point in your life where you're like, yeah, but does it even matter? Does it matter if it's a wild success, as long as it like feeds my soul? As long as it's a reflection of who I truly am. And we're going to be really afraid of the Seven of Cups energy because there's no clear indication, right? You're in a period of surrender. And the Ten of Wands might really try to push through. You might really try to get away with the non-evolving, like resisting the transformation in some way. Keep on trucking, keep on doing this, keep investing in this way, just keep going. But really and truly, it's out of your hands. We're going to have to go kind of with how we feel. Like, look at all of the watery energy here. Cancer, Pisces, you know. There's just new moon in Pisces. There's just so much flow. The answers are really going to lie in the meditation, right? Choices and meditate and contemplate. Here, Seven of Cups, we have all of this fear built up, like, oh my God, what if I don't make the right choice? What if this isn't the right person? What if I'm doing something so crazy that I'll never succeed? But here you have it backed up. Card number 20, breaking down to a 2, flying. If you allow yourself to believe, you will succeed. And the things that you really commit to, the things that really represent you, your inner self, like there's so much about removing the fear, breaking down those walls, right? Which is what that root chakra energy will do. It's so ego driven. It's going to want to keep us safe. And you have to figure out how to be safe while letting people in, letting people see you, doing the things that you want to do, living the kind of life that you want. Because this is all what happens when Venus moves into Sag. We're going to require this freedom. If we stay stuck, we're going to make some really rash decisions. But now we could start to move into this energy slowly. Let ourselves open up over time. Let these ideas and these new things emerge without feeling like a complete crisis. Because we're getting more in touch with ourselves. And when you get more in touch with yourselves and you stop listening to other, you know, like sometimes the Seven of Cups is like a whole bunch. It's a very loud energy of like all these people saying, oh, don't do that, do this, you'd be great at this, you should meet this person, you should go there, this is how you should handle it. And we can get really lost in that energy. But if we allow the quiet, then we allow the inspiration to come in. And this is all about the inspiration. Allow yourself to let go so that this can come in. Really and truly, you are just choosing between that old version of your life and the new version. And what do you want to commit to? Do you want to go back to that comfort zone? Or do you want to create a new comfort zone? Because this ultimately will become comfortable. It always does, it always will. But the transformation is so deeply rooted. It's so time for you to make these changes, to believe in yourself, to trust yourself, and allow the new energy to come in. Beautiful, beautiful reading, guys. All right, I'll see you in your October readings. Take care. Bye. Hello, pile number 2. You guys chose the green agate, which I kind of compared to a heart opening, which is very clear as well in this reading. And I just like immediately want to point to these cards here down below. We are kind of bookended between this Pisces energy. Now, when I did the video, I said that part of this whole equinox was the fact that it started with a Pisces full moon energy, which is all about like, what do we need to release? Pisces ruled by Neptune, sacrifice. And then we have, what do you need to release? The waning moon. And I think that there's so much potential here if you are willing to let go. And I think the universe really needs you to understand that more than anything. Now we're starting out here with the World and the Hierophant. And I love these two cards together. Like, to me, the World is about a cycle ending and therefore a new one beginning. And these three cards here are so profound. Because there's this old version of self, this old commitment. Like, this could be the way you viewed your career, the way that you viewed love and relationships. This is the old version of you, and that came to an end. Some kind of a karmic cycle came to an end. You've learned your lessons. You've done that work there. And I love the World card because to me it symbolizes kind of like the womb, like how the universe protects you. Also, whenever we see circles, I always attribute it to the cycles of karma. And here we are, like this woman naked inside of this womb. Is the idea that there's a new you being born, right? Still yet in the womb. But the Fool card indicates that there is a direction you know you want to go in, or at least a change of direction that you know you want to make. And here, deeply rooted, this Hierophant card really is our inner guru. It's the integrity, that part of us that is so in tune with what is right and what is wrong. And he's so important to our path because he says, okay, I know that this cycle is ending, but there are some very important steps you have to take before you could make this jump, this leap of faith, which ultimately is the Fool, the new journey. And here we are kind of in between this energy of closing out the old stuff, right? I love the Hierophant comes out with this unfinished symphony. The World card comes out with this Neptune card of sacrifice. We have to sacrifice that old stuff, that old relationship, those old ways. Now listen, for some of you, maybe you are falling in love, right? We have the Fool with the Otter Spirit, kind of a representation as well. This is card number 6, which always represents love to me. Libra season, all about love and partnerships. Like, these things are going to come into play. Because we have Mercury retrograde, before we can go into the new wholeheartedly, like with that clean faith and hope and integrity, we have to confront the old. There are things that need to close out. If you are falling in love with somebody, it's probably best to close out those old cycles with those exes, end those old relationships, end those unhealthy habits. See, the universe wants us to ascend. Like, that's what this year is all about. The bad shit, everything. It all adds up to the fact that who are you going to become now? Because the current state is going to continue to get more and more uncomfortable. If you're looking to start a new job or a new career in some way, there are very important things that need to be closed up, right? Like filing the paperwork, closing up the old business, finishing up that work in order to move on. And the thing is, it's such an important task, not just like the menial act of doing it, right? Like this represents a lot of what Virgo season was for us, like the little things that we do to get us to this point where we could take this leap of faith. But the Hierophant is a reflection of our inner selves. And our inner selves are saying there's a story here that needs to close out. Maybe physically, maybe emotionally. And if we're carrying a lot of baggage from the past, which happens with Unfinished Symphony, and I will tell you that these things will reflect on the inside and the outside. I often, I know I've moved so many times. My son is moving now. And there is something about that energy where you're in the old place and you're packing and everything is kind of a mess. And you just really don't want to be there anymore because you're so excited about the new thing. You're so ready to make this leap of faith. That's what I feel like. You're so ready for this new thing. But you know that you still have to make those repairs, patch up those walls, clean those carpets, do the things that make this preparation so much healthier for the new beginning. And it could be internal work. It could be facing our demons or our mistakes from our past relationships, facing that fear. Because in order to truly open your heart in any way, you can't have fear. And the only way that we can go into something fearlessly is knowing that we have ourselves. And that's why I see this Fool card and this Otter Spirit. You are never alone. So prominent in this energy. Guys, you don't go into the things that you truly love, the things that are truly meant for you, with conditions. Well, I'm only going to make the sacrifice. I'm only going to give up this one thing if there's this guarantee that this other thing is going to work out. And if there's no guarantee, I'm just going to kind of stay over here in the in-between. You want life to change. You cannot stay in the in-between. This is about big moves now, which means it is so important to close out your past. And the You Are Never Alone card number 6, tells me that the only way that you can take this leap of faith is by trusting yourself. Hierophant. Trusting your choices. Now, we're all going to look at our lives and we're going to be yeah, but that one time I did get into that relationship, it was a complete disaster and I don't ever want to do that again. Maybe there's a part of you that has lost faith in the idea of love. Maybe there's a part of you that's lost faith in the idea of commitment. But when it boils down to it, those experiences, those heartbreaks, those losses, the disappointments got you to where you are now. Those are not horrible things that happened to you because you are not a victim. You are simply experimenting this life and you are ready for something different. The World card, we're closing out this karmic cycle of the disappointments. But the difference between those energies and this energy is that you thought you needed this person to be a certain way and to have, to answer to your expectations. So then we had to learn how to release when those people didn't operate that way or those things didn't go that way. We have to still be allowed to have faith even if people disappoint us. And there's such a difference between going after something you love when you have complete faith that the universe will always catch you. This is the universe saying, you are right. You are safe. Even if the relationship you want to jump into doesn't work out, it's going to be an amazing experience. You can't go into something waiting for a guarantee that this person will always be there. You know? This is kind of like the way that I look at marriage and relationships. Like, you could love somebody and allow them to be on their path and their journey and to experience their life the way they want to. And it solves so many issues that you had previously, right? Our old version of relationships, which was like the expectations, the give and take. Well, like, you did this, so I'm going to do that, so you do that. And that's really not coming from a place of unconditional love. And when we're in scenarios where we cannot express unconditional love, then the love becomes very conditional and we become very disappointed. And here we are, King of Pentacles in reverse, in your fear, and we have that followed by the compass. Your fear is the lack of stability, the lack of commitment. I'm going to take this leap of faith because I know in my soul, I know in my bones that this is for me. And then this fear creeps in and it says, are you on the right path? Are you going in the right direction? Because there's no stability here. This is an illusion. This is a fear. Now is not the time to play it safe. Look, we have earth energy here. We have like the responsibilities, the duties, the practicality. We have to close these things out. That's the sacrifice. Our need to control, our need to guarantee, our need for commitment. How that played out for us, right? We've had people in the past make promises they didn't keep. So here we are, invited to a new beginning, and yet we're fearing that this person will not keep those commitments either. Do you want to jump or not? Because whether they say they made that commitment, whether they can offer that at that time, it's not going to feel stable. But you will feel pulled. This in itself is the lesson here. That if you can just follow your heart, if you could take that leap of faith, regardless of this person or this thing, regardless of the idea that there are no guarantees, everything, you'll have more stability than you even realized. Four of Wands. This is your outcome. This is what you truly want. It's a really magical time. There's so much right in front of you. But you got to let go of the old energy. And you got to allow this in, and you have got to have faith. You have to have faith that this is all working out in the right time, in the right way, and regardless of not having any guarantees, it feels right. Clearly there is a new journey starting for you, and it's an opportunity to let go of all that heaviness, to let go of all of those disappointments, and to feel the new energy coming in, which is so much lighter. And it's so much more passionate and fun. There's no heaviness here. This is pure celebration. And this is where you can allow your heart to be, not riddled in the need for commitment and promises, because it's really not what it's about anyways. This is about learning to be in the moment. When you release your need for control, the universe gives you all the stability you could ask for. Compass, card number 5. Hierophant, card number 5. This is about embracing change that comes from within, feeling it through you. Really, really beautiful energy, guys. I do hope that you're able to kind of close out these old things. Again, like I'm telling you, even in a very practical sense, if you could take the rest of Venus in Scorpio for the next couple of weeks and clean this stuff out, right? Also the opportunity while Mercury is in retrograde, like finish that paperwork, do that filing, move around that money, like do the things that you need to do, make the arrangements, because this is right here. This big thing, this new beginning that is just such a part of your destiny. You don't want to leave yourself hanging back here, having to worry about the stuff that didn't get done, or having to worry about the residue from the bad relationships, or keeping the exes around, This needs to be clean. And it needs to be free and light and not be so controlled and conditioned, because that is where this grows from. This does not come from a place of control. This does not come from a place of having to need people to meet your expectations. You are everything you need. And you have to know that when you jump into relationships or you jump into jobs, nothing is meant to last forever. It is meant to reflect who you truly are, your authenticity in the moment, in this current karmic cycle, which seems to be a brand new, much brighter cycle. Look at all of this yellow, which is like gifts from the universe. And you're being led right there. So close out those old chapters, end those old relationships, get your closure, because I believe in Scorpio season, this Fool card is really going to take hold. Maybe even a little bit sooner. Maybe when Mercury starts moving direct again, we could start to take the new actions. Guys, this is a really powerful reading. I do wish all of you the very best. I love you so much, and I'll see you soon for your October readings. Take care. Hello, pile number 3. You guys chose this royal blue agate, which I kind of associate with the crown chakra, which I associate with like inspiration and intuition and like the evolution of our souls. And it's so funny that the first card out is this death card of Scorpio. And underneath the death card, we have this earth element, stability. And I think for you guys, you have been under this tremendous transformation for some time. I don't think that this is something like brand new or just beginning. This feels like you've been under this process of recreation for a while. Now, when I see the earth element, it's probably something very stable in your life that is sort of in the process of ending. Now, to me, intuitively, this feels very rooted in commitment. And I think for some of you, there are probably some big commitments. It doesn't necessarily have to be like a marriage or a relationship. It could just be like a commitment to a job or a career that you have. And you know it's changing because you know you're changing. And in a 5-year, in a Uranus year, there could be a lot of rebellion that comes from that. And that's what I see with this 3 of Cups and this Yang card. See, I feel like the old version or the old life for you, the old career, the old marriage, this relationship, whatever it was to you, it didn't excite you anymore. It didn't challenge you. This old version of yourself is something that you could kind of do with your eyes closed, and there's something about knowing, like the knowing that this is just simply no longer resonating with you. Now, for some of you, this could be both the end of a marriage and a career. It could, because with this death card, I mean, this is not a little transformation. This is an entirely new life. And this is the shedding of the old and the transformation. And so when you walk away from something, or your soul at least is walking away from something that is so known, so routine, so deeply rooted in who you are, like I said, I feel like this is a Uranus energy that comes through that is very rebellious, right? We've got the Yang card, which is very masculine. And we have this Three of Cups card, which kind of represents a much more casual kind of thing. So I think for some of you, you're learning to walk away from maybe like a marriage or a commitment or a job and starting to really resonate with a much more lighter, more fun period in your life, right? And we've got this Yang card, which is very indicative of the masculine energy, which is just kind of like to go out and conquer. And there's something almost sort of sexual about this Three of Cups and this Yang card, and not in a terribly negative way. I mean, sometimes in life we get ourselves out of serious situations because we are drawn to something that maybe isn't necessarily good for us, but really gets us to move, right? I hate to say this, I hate to make light of anything like this, but for some of you, maybe you're in relationships and you begin to cheat on a spouse. And there's this drive within you to just want to go back to like being young and being free and not having commitments and just being able to go out and have fun and make the choices that you want and be with who you want, and yet keeping it very casual, right? Again, this very kind of sexual undertone that's coming from this. And then we have the Hermit card. And underneath that is card number 36, which breaks down to a 9. Koi fish spirit, there is always enough. Okay. This right here is really big energy. Because like we left this thing. Some of us physically left this thing. Some of us just kind of mentally or in our heart left this old case. We might very well still be in it. But our heart is not. And we went off on this journey and we experienced this thing that felt much more free. And yet we have to reach a period of introspection. The Hermit card, Virgo energy. Koi spirit, there is always enough. You may find yourself kind of vacillating between these two versions of you. The you that wants life to be stable and predictable, and then the you that wants to go out and have fun or like do those crazy things you always wanted to do, travel freely, without the baggage, without the permission from other people, and maybe it's a change of career in which you want like more creativity and fun. Maybe you've spent 20 years sitting behind a desk and you're like, oh my God, no, I want to go do something creative or something that really like is with other people. Something that I just simply enjoy more. And now that we've experienced both things, there's a lot of introspection about what it is that we truly want and desire. And see, when the Hermit comes out, it is an element of your inner wisdom, right? you're in a period of darkness. There's not a lot of light. There's not a lot of illumination as to what the future is going to look like, right? We don't know what's coming next. All we know is that there is something like this spark inside of us that is leading us down this path, and maybe we don't even understand it. But to me, the point of this, I'm so drawn to this 9, 9, and the result is a 10. Regardless of what we choose, there's something that has to end. And because we have this, there's always enough. And in your fears, the Queen of Wands, there's a very deep resolve within you about your ability to receive. You may have been the dependable one, the person that everyone relied on, right? Like the spouse that provided. And suddenly you just didn't want to be in that role anymore. Or like that boss or the business owner. And suddenly you just wake up one day and you're like, I just want to do something different. Or I just want to be somewhere different. And you allow yourself to like taste that version of life. Let's go and explore this something different. But you're doing it in a masculine energy, like you're making it happen. The period of introspection is getting you closer than you think to what you truly want. See, we have this 3, and then we have 3, 3 here, peaks of joy. This seems to be almost like you can't quite grasp it. There's this thing that you want and you desire and you love and you feel great when you're doing it, or this person that you feel great being with. But you're not quite there yet. And what you don't realize, the reason why this isn't a sustainable part of life yet, because it's only peaks. These are only hints of like what you really love. What do you value? Like imagine being like a buffet in front of you. Suddenly there's like this buffet of all these foods you've never tried. And like you have the opportunity to like taste all these different cuisines, and yet there's probably 1 or 2 things that you really, really love. And suddenly this silly thing, like tasting food from someplace you've never been, kind of sets you on this path. Like this new direction that's emerging from within. And you're really going to have to look at it. You're really going to have to think twice about this thing. Because if you try to make this long term, right, which I think is truly what you want, like to make this part of your life more long term. But then there's a sense of worry that if you choose this path, you won't have enough. And for us, that abundance, that lack that we fear, comes from a place of not deserving. And so you allow this to continue to be the experiment, and yet you probably continue to vacillate between that old life and the new life. Now, like I said, for some of us, this is an affair. Like we have this spouse, we have this life, this commitment over here, this family thing. And yet we also have like this desire to pick up and move, or to go somewhere else or live a completely different life. And now is a period of introspection of what you want, what path you want to take, and how you're going to do it. Because this is a big risk, right? You're worried. There is always enough. If you make choices from a place of scarcity or lack, you will almost always make the wrong choice. The universe, like we're not here to just play it safe. And if you look at the evolution of us, like, it wasn't that long ago. Like, we didn't have the internet. We didn't have dating apps. We didn't have the ability to move all over the world on a whim. So not that long ago, people would like meet their neighbor and marry them and spend their entire life with them. And therefore, things became very bland, right? How much could you possibly learn? There weren't a lot of risks being taken. Now we're in this place, this environment, like we are literally here on earth at this time to live lifetimes of karma and learn lifetimes of lessons instantaneously. And so our growth, instead of happening one lifetime to another, our growth happens multiple times within one lifetime. Which is why we see the divorce rate so high, people having 2, 3, 4 different types of careers all together. Because we're allowing this change to take place. But anybody that's ever changed their career or anybody that's ever gotten a divorce will tell you it is a very frightening process. Because you think about those risks and you think about how easy and stable life was here. Like, if I keep it all the same, at least I know every day when I wake up where I'll be, what I'll have, what I could do. I'll know there's money in the bank. I'll know that there's a warm body next to me, and I won't be alone. But the death card suggests that this freight train is already moving. Like, you are already disconnected from that old version of yourself. And regardless of how much you try to fight this, the universe is going to push you down this path. Now, this Queen of Wands and this Peak of Joy, this Fear card, okay, again, more of like this very sexual, intuitive kind of vibe coming here, but it's in your, it's tricky because it's in your fears. And I think this is a part of you that is afraid to receive the new things that are coming in. You're afraid of your own desire. And yet the universe is going to keep giving you these situations, these scenarios, these occasions, right? That feel so amazing. And you can't ignore it. And it's going to make you decide that you deserve that. You deserve that new version of your life. And when ultimately this decision to go after, to follow our intuition, to live freely, to kind of like find ourselves so liberated in the moment, right? Because the Queen of Wands is in the moment. She's also like in her power. There's going to be really beautiful moments that happen. And then you're going to wonder, is this like the right thing? Is this going to affect other people? Am I going to let people down? But I promise you, Queen of Wands, you cannot be afraid of your own power. You can't be afraid of your sexuality. You can't be afraid of this new phase of life. You know, even if it's maybe just leaving a mundane job to do something very, very creative, the universe is going to hand you situations in which you can exercise that creativity. It's going to give you a taste of what that is. And it's going to like breadcrumb you, make you feel like ultimately you are on the right path. And it's going to lead you to this ending. 10 of Swords. Conclusions are within reach. Full moon eclipse coming in December. Guys, this is all a lead up to December. There is something very stable and very overdone There is no more to learn from it, no more to experience from it. This phase of your life is over. And you are moving into a much more creative realm in your life. Much more exciting, much more ambitious phase, be it in relationships, in your career, whatever this represents to you. Right now, the universe is going to breadcrumb you until you decide that this is the path that you want to take without fear, without judgment. And as soon as you decide that you want to welcome this Queen of Wands energy, see, this is your own power and it frightens you. There's parts of you that are being unleashed that you're afraid to show the world. I don't know, I get the vibe that somebody's like, I don't know, like recording songs in a basement or something, but like it's something you would never really share with anyone. But the more you do it, the better you feel, these peaks of joy. The universe showing you this is truly a part of you. And you begin to settle into this new version of yourself. And when you do, the old just sort of separates. The old stuff dies out. You're going to make solid decisions if you follow your inspiration. And you might be a threat to a lot of other people. You might trigger a lot of fears in a lot of other people. Like if you have a spouse at home that feels this disconnection, you will be triggering them when you start following your heart. And ultimately, this is a means to ending this situation. And it's a process. It's a process within yourself in order to conquer the obstacles. I can sum this up so quickly. Pile number 3, follow your happy. Just follow your heart. It will not steer you wrong. Incredible reading, guys. This is such a powerful 3 months for us. I'm just so excited to see what these October readings are going to bring out. Wow, it's just a really great time. Thank you so much for listening, guys. I will see you very soon for the October readings. I wish you so much love. Take care. Bye.